I'm the scat man. Yo do do do. Slimmy limmy ding yo do do do. Yo do do ba 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 do. Ba 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 do. Sweet ba 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 ba.
Happy Tuesday. And if you're waking up late after last night's hockey game, hockey enjoyers haven't really been peppered with much, Andy, because last night's game, Philly, Pittsburgh, poop, Utah, Vegas, the poop series of the West. The first round right now just seems to be weeding out teams we don't want to watch and waiting for maybe the second round where actual real playoffs are beginning.
I heard PK Subban and
Oh God,
whoever he was, who's he with? Is he with Butcher Gross on the internet? No, Butcher Gross was calling the game. Whoever he was, maybe
Marv.
I don't know who he was. No, I think he was with Butcher Gross. I think Levy was calling the game. So they were saying, these late games is like, it's the excitement that keeps you up. Really, I should be doing late games, intermission, because like they're like, oh, you got to fight. I am right in there checking out those late games. I mean, I couldn't think of a better cave dweller to be analyzing first overtimes than me out there. But I will say this, as I just gave myself a Barry Horowitz pat on the back. That was the first time that I enjoyed that series. That was an exciting game. I figure you checked out knowing I would be able to carry the torch on. But there was some serious, anytime you see a team come back from 3 down in a playoff game, you learn one more thing about the Vegas Golden Knights. This isn't that team that could lock it down a couple of years back. And also, they are a team who could blow a lead like that, still manage to come back, get an overtime goal taken away on an offsides, and still manage to win the game. And fortunately, with a Shea Theodore point, may I add. And I was contemplating the assist because, he's hesitant to shoot on the power play. But I think some of us have learned that you play with that fire a little too much. You get burned a little too much.
I know the 60 points is always nice, though. But, yeah, PK stinks. I don't know if you've seen the ESPN girl who does the Vegas game, Stormy Boy-Tommy. Have you been on that show? Haven't you been on her show, too?
One time, I don't think they ever invited me back. I think I started saying things like pizzeria picks, and they're like, what is this guy talking about?
But it is funny to see her between the benches. She's actually really good.
Yeah. No, that's different. They cut down to her for these mini segments. I'm talking about, they'll be live during the, what do we got down there, Stormy? And she'd be like, well, but she'll give you something like that. But I'm talking about during the intermission, they were actually referencing being tired. Yeah, can you imagine me doing something like that, like during the intermission? Guys, it's rough doing this here. Not a chance. But that game definitely was exciting, regardless of the lack of power play goals.
Hall quit. I gotta jump in. Hall quit saying, "How is it a poop series?" It's just not good playoff hockey, right? Goal immediately again. Game 3, goals. Boom, 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 boom. Quick, blowing 3-0 leads. Like this is another series where someone was up 3-1, could have been up 3-1. If they
I think what he's
a
saying
late
is,
win.
I remember there is a difference between entertaining hockey, which that absolutely was. I was pleasantly surprised because typically if it's not that entertaining, I'll start maybe writing up some picks and just have the game to the top right. This game was one I actually continued to watch. So that's usually how you know the level that it keeps your attention. But then there is a parallel stream where we're analyzing, all right, is this a real team? Is this a true playoff type team? And what Josh is saying, we essentially were watching 4 teams last night who can't win the Stanley Cup.
That's exactly right. Like, it's like where we are and where we're establishing, like, are these teams legit? Is Philly good or is Pittsburgh really bad? I think we found out maybe just both aren't very good either, right? Anaheim, Edmonton. Like, where do you rank like those 6 teams plus the Kings? All of a sudden, maybe we thought like 4 teams didn't have a chance. And I know you were talking earlier in the playoffs that it's big dog time, and it's probably going to be Carolina, Dallas, Minnesota, Colorado, Buffalo, and maybe that's kind of it.
I'll kick Buffalo out. They won't be in mine.
Okay. Producer Mick is
I
continuing to hit that like button things.
I
know
have
he's
a
flared it up.
belief. Hit that like button if you disagree. I just have never seen a team have zero experience come in and just go all the way to the end. I've just never seen it, so I just can't. But those teams you mentioned, yes. And I am looking forward to talking about the Edmonton-Anaheim game tonight.
Yeah, so I don't like some people might think that the Minnesota-Dallas series is kind of boring. That's about as a round one playoff ready as you're going to see. The Montreal-Tampa Bay series, same thing. Obviously, way too many penalties. But outside of that, we're not seeing teams blow 3-0 leads. We're seeing teams close out games.
It's a classic question of, do you like real hockey or do you like fake hockey? If the series that you're mentioning that Josh just brought up that you think are boring, if you think the Tampa series is boring, you think the Dallas series is boring, then you watch the preseason. You'll love that. Just random players doing random things. But when you're talking about eventually the goal is, look, I'm a New York Islanders fan. I think Josh is still a Toronto fan if he didn't hate the management or something, because it's a separate issue. But the whole goal is you want to see your team win a Stanley Cup. And if you're watching out there, I imagine you're a fan of a team. You want to see your team do the right things to win a Stanley Cup. So while there is an entertainment factor, obviously, some random NBA fan who's made the transition, he just wants to see exciting stuff. I understand. It's hard for lifetime watchers to just be like, yeah, this is great. This is going to work till the very end. So that's kind of, it's a conflicting battle between entertainment and what I know can sustain and win throughout the entirety of the playoffs. That's what it is.
Yeah, and goes back to the Kings thing. Someone says that notwithstanding the Kings are probably the one team that didn't deserve to be there. There would be an argument for someone to be like, they played really tight games versus Colorado, but I would say that Colorado probably just dictated, say, we're not going to make mistakes. We're not going to stretch ourselves thin here and take too many chances. And we're just going to stop you from scoring. And that was textbook.
I have a theory that Colorado used that series to work on playing in tie game. Notice that there was a game that was 0-0 for about 85 minutes.
Yeah.
LA scored. Colorado goes, turn it up. They tied it in 2 minutes.
Yeah. That's the scary part about Colorado is what they did versus the Kings in that series. Just said, we're just going to shut it down. We're going to work on everything. And that's it. They'll keep it vanilla, but like vanilla will get you there. Vanilla will get you to a cup.
When I bring up the handshake thing that I brought up with how they're not even celebrating, when I say everything seems in line to win a Stanley Cup, like I know there's a term Stanley Cup or bust. I feel like for them, it's like, now we're winning a Stanley Cup. It's how we're going to go about doing it. The fact that they play that way intentionally, knowing there are likely Cheeks games to come in that Dallas or even Minnesota series, they just reek of a winner to me this year.
Yeah, agree. And there's another thing, like watching the Pittsburgh Philly series, the last bit, Philly needs to press. Like if you can't withstand ozone pressure with the goalie pulled for 2.5 minutes, like if you can't gain, so like that's just an easy representation of you're not going to be able to come back at any point when you need to press and you can't sustain pressure. I mean, to your Raquel Russ play, I think you missed it twice on the empty nets from Crosby.
Yeah.
Until Big Val goes on a bender. Now, Big Val, they might even be able to sustain a Big Val bender. That's how good that Colorado team is right now. They might even say, you know what? Yeah, give them the Dennis Rodman treatment. As long as you come back.
A night out in the Russian district in Denver.
Yeah,
that's funny.
What y'all got on Michkov? Michkov is not a playoff performer. Like it's not his game.
His replacement scored a nice goal, so
hey,
I don't think that
played like 16 minutes. Next game, I'm going Kate's bump stack for sure.
Oh my god, man! 3 minutes in, we had a Barkey and then a mini breakaway to tip it, and he just kind of missed it. We almost nailed that as quickly as we nailed the Dorofeev Barbashev.
I'm going to bed.
No, I knew it once I saw that going. I go, I better watch the rest of this. Josh is long sleeping after he saw he hit
No,
that
but I'm like
hit.
3-0. Let's go to bed. 3-1, 3-2. You're like, come on. No, 3-3. I still couldn't stay up. I apologize. Sorry, guys.
No.
Steve Winwood getting some preps in the chat with the Valerie talk. Everybody loves Steve Winwood. That's for sure. Series is tied. Series is 3-2. Here's the thing. Philly's not a good team. Let's be honest. Like they're a good team. They're not a great team. I think that makes it even scarier for them to blow a 3-1 lead versus also not a very good team in Pittsburgh. And they got Shelovs, who's, wow, look out. Speaking of vanilla, but he's doing better than obviously the Skin Man. This could you see Pittsburgh coming back in a battle of two teams in our bracket only to the right series?
I'm going to say the same thing that I said in my series preview video. Hey, in the comments, if you're not liking and commenting and doing all the things we ask you, now's your time. What do you think is going to happen in this series? Because I agree with you. Whatever you say, anything you type, I agree with you. Because that's what could happen. Nothing should shock you in this series because we don't have a reliable team. There's nothing you can rely on between these two teams. When all said and done, I'll trust the team that's willing to give you everything they have defensively. I'll still side with Philly.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Philly, I'm happy that I came back from a 2-0 deficit on the road and lost on a fake, a fake goal that, I mean, a 1 in a million goal. So I think there's still things that Philly can hang their hat on. They have full buy-in from the entire team. I mean, you referenced Malkin yesterday. You hit that under on his. What's he doing out there? What's that guy doing out there?
If Pittsburgh has the lead, he's not playing. Him and Chinikov are not taking shifts when they're playing with the lead.
Yeah, you'd imagine you have most Philly players shot out of a cannon next game, just trying to hit every. I mean, it's gonna be a quote unquote scumbag crowd. So I think the environment should be good, if nothing else.
Yeah, I agree. Bump 15 plus minutes. Do like that look in the next game. Barkey Tippett did look good. I think Barkey just didn't have enough minutes in terms of where it was. Didn't get a lot of that power play time that we were hoping he was getting.
He did get the spot though. He did get Mitch.
He got the spot. Okay, yeah, but it's an ugly power play when it's working. They don't move the puck very well. It's one of the worst coming into the playoffs. But at the end of the day, if you got 2 more games and things tighten up and power plays don't count and people are throwing their bodies around a little more, probably leaning on Philly for sure, right? Like Pittsburgh's going to do it, but they're going to do it with their fourth line, right? The Achari, Lazat, and...
I mean, what did Pittsburgh impress you yesterday?
No, they didn't. Nothing in that game. Nothing in that game impressed me. Nothing.
That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's talk about another one. There's nothing even left to say. Whatever you think's going to happen, people, it could happen. All right, that's good. It's good news. You could know nothing, and you could be right because that's what's going on in this series. And all of a sudden, Crosby out of nowhere leads the series in points, which is interesting.
Yes, that line 20 plus minutes. And then the second, the third, and the fourth all cannibalize each other in terms of minutes because they're all playing. So good look for you on the roster. Kel didn't come through, but they're playing big minutes. That means something. Power play 1 as well. Vegas and Utah, we touched on it. It's just like Vegas was questionable all year because I think they went from like late October to like January, and they didn't beat a playoff team. I think they went like in regulation, like 20 straight games, which is crazy or something. And then you see it on the road. You take the crowd out, that the crowd was jacked up in game 3, immediately played a big factor, and you shut them up in the first 90 seconds and then add to it 3-0, and you can't put a fork in them. Carter Hart somehow is still playing in net with Aiden Hill there because Torts is such a you're my guy and doesn't like conflict and doesn't like to play that. And I know him from Philadelphia. You got to make a move, no?
If there was ever a time to make a move in a win, you can do it now.
Or you're done. His chance was after game 3, and he's not going to make the move.
maybe you can say because he's never played so many in a row, you just want to give him rest. Maybe you can give it some good branding. I was listening to Tortorella in the post game. I just happened to, maybe it auto played for me this morning. He said he's calling a few people by the wrong name still. Like he doesn't know who some of his players are.
Yeah.
I believe it was it Schwint? Was it? It was one of these guys. Maybe it was a fourth liner that he just said he needed help. Like it seems kind of crazy to me. I don't know who's dictating what over there, but you know who Vegas is to me? If you ever seen Austin Powers 2, I just feel like they're a version of Austin Powers that lost his mojo. There's no true Vegas mojo anymore. So that's another series. I could almost say whatever you think. Sure, fine. I mean, I tend to lean Vegas. They have two, for the same reason I'd lean Dallas. They have 2 out of 3 games at home. You'd imagine if it goes to a game 7, they'd be able to win that one, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Giving them 4 straight is not a good sign.
No, I agree. Sure, entertaining, but entertaining at 11 o'clock at night on the East Coast is different than entertaining at 7 o'clock. Let's get to today's slate. Some big games here. Elimination around the corner. Maybe Boston plus 140.
I love that McLeod on the screen. That is just a wild uppercase letter of an Irish last name. I just saw something wild on the bottom of my screen. But
the Welsh name, yeah.
You got all right. Anyway,
and I had to research. There it is as it rolls down the bottom. I got to wait for it. Yeah, I got to see plus 170, and I believe I do know how to say it. Buffalo minus 160 over under sitting at 5.5. Andy's going Queen McLeod under stack here plus 165, and I am going in quotation marks. Don't bet it right now. If Norris is out, go get Noah Ostlund at plus 150. The guy played more power play minutes than anybody else in Buffalo last game. Nothing really happened, maybe less, but I mean, plus 150 for a guy in that middle lineup for Buffalo that's always going to get minutes. I do like that. And then I'm getting that greasy look for what I like about Buffalo is they struggled early in the series. Games 1, games 2, games 3, and then boom, 4 goals in Boston. That mojo's going to carry home. That barn's going to be crazy. It took them, I don't think they scored a goal in the first 50 minutes in both games at home there. They can pile on a bit. And then as we saw in all the other elimination games, minus 2.5, very much in play. The 4-1, pull the goalie, 5-1 win is there. The only thing that killed me was the Carolina series. Ottawa scored with the... empty.
It will happen every once in a while. So I was going to text you last night, hey, remind me to bring this up if I don't, but people who follow me and whatnot, they know this. I tell them, if you're a hockey watcher, you're a hockey enjoyer. If you see the Buffalo Sabres up by 1, preferably 2, 2 is the perfect number,
100%.
Approaching the second period. During that intermission, take whatever you want. Minus 3.5, minus 4.5. Because when a team's about to be eliminated, you have the higher likelihood that you just get this. I don't care. They'll pull the goalie down 5 just because it's their last game. So whatever it may be, some player props. If you see Buffalo up by 2, and granted, yes, there is a chance Boston could score a goal, and now everything might be ruined. But if you just kind of, the odds that they're going to give you are worth taking on many of those things when you know what that team who's about to be eliminated is going to do. Josh mentioned, like the Senators, they did it. They gave up the empty net goal. They happened to, it's just luckily a team that hadn't been scoring at all gets a even straight or gets another goal. When they pulled the goalie again, multiple, it will just never stop the goalie pulls. That's just bad luck. But Colorado, they happen to score the real way and then get the empty netter. And there are just all sorts of things available for you. Always look for that team who's about to be eliminated. If you see that in Edmonton tonight, you see Edmonton down 2. We have history of them in the Stanley Cup final. They pulled their goalie down 4. I honestly think they did 5 in that last game of the Stanley Cup, which got Sam Reinhart most points in the series because he just put in like 3 empty netters at the very end. So it was, it's just something to look for tonight. If you see a team about to be eliminated, trailing by 2, going into the third, one of the many snake ways you could find some good things up in there.
Yeah, correlation there if you're trying to find like last goal scorer too. Somewhere there, if you know someone, like if you're like, it's Jordan Martinook's time to shine with the goalie pulled, right? Like that's your guy.
100%. You always go Stahl Martinook. It's gonna be, you know, they're gonna be out there a ton.
Yeah, you're not looking for Evgeny Malkin last goal in a closeout game. That's for sure. All right, Gino, jump over the boards. You got to protect this. But if you know hockey too, guys aren't gonna like in a one goal game with an empty net. The aggression to get that empty net goal is a lot lower than it is when you're up 2, right? No goalie's going to shoot on an empty net when they're just up 1 goal. A goalie will shoot on the net when they're at 2.
And also, when a team is up 1, you're getting 2.5 minutes of empty net time.
Now
when a
you
team
are.
is down
it's crazy.
2,
Everybody's doing it now.
You're getting 4.5 minutes.
Yeah,
like you're getting 4+ minutes when a team is down by 2.
If you're down 4-1, let's say Edmonton's down 4-1 sometime in the middle of the third period. They could pull the goalie in those spots, maybe even 5-1. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no limit. If a team's about to be eliminated, there's no, well, let's not, because I could see if it's a game, it's about to be 3-1. You don't want to give these players everyone scores a goal. Now they feel good about themselves. You don't want to give that to them. But if it's the dead last game and you're about to be eliminated, let them pile up as many empty netters as they want. That's what I've noticed with a lot of these situations. In the elimination game, you get unlimited empty net opportunities.
But I do like this Buffalo team total over 3.5 at +115. That could be an early third period win. Krebs will be added to my point prop parlay at the end. Assists in 3 of 4. I was going to get him for an assist, but we know how that works out. Like I said, Ostlund played 17 minutes last game, most power play time of all Buffalo skaters. 2 points first game, drawing into the lineup for Norris in 14 minutes, and then played 17 minutes and then didn't get it. Good. I don't have a chronic nosebleed. If no one caught my chronic nosebleed after yesterday's show, that would have been embarrassing again. Big thing here, Zadarov is questionable for game 5 here. Victor Arvidsson, questionable. Like if you don't have Nikita in there bagging bodies, that's a big difference for all those Buffalo forwards because he is a dangerous man. So we'll wait and see how that works. Zucker and Kozak, who left game 4, expected to come back. That's from Lindy Ruff. 4-goal, as I mentioned, that 4-goal first period hopefully translates over. And Alex Lyon, .964 save percentage so far since taking over. Maybe the best series in the West in the first round. Let's go Minnesota, Dallas. Dallas -125. Over under sitting at 5.5. Andy likes first period under 1.5 goals, and I really like that play as well. And then I know the goals happened, but we still didn't get the Kerfoot point yesterday.
Yeah, that was a legacy play. I just had to bring it up. I mean, I was dead scared after seeing all those goals the game before.
Yeah,
a little entertainment value there, but
you're going back to it. But Marcus Johansson at
this is the whole premise of this game, though. This should be everybody's introduction. We always wait for it. The first 2 games at home, the second 2 games at home. This should be intro to Clenched Cheeks hockey, a 2-2 series with the pivotal game 5, where you're not going to get 5 power plays on each side. I imagine 2, max 3, where a team is trying to take a stranglehold in a huge series and a huge game. And in these situations, I believe this is where now it's not game 7, but this is where you see people really trying to not take a wild chance, give another team an opportunity on an odd man rush. This should be some serious Cheeks hockey. Now, look, anything can happen. We've seen wild things in the past, but to me, the way this series is going, what do we have? A couple back-to-back overtime games. Last game, you saw Dallas just trying to defend that 2-1 lead. I just feel like we're going to see more of that. So that's why I like the under 1.5. That's why I like the under 6.5. You can take whatever guy you want. I know Josh is very unimpressed with Johansson. That's why I included him. But you could take Tarasenko, who's now down on the third line with Zuccarello returning. Man, he's very unlikely to get a point. That's plus 105. Just taking that script. I wish I could include Sam Steele. Sam Steele's not getting a point all playoffs. This guy's not getting a point all playoffs long. But I like finding a way, like whether you can do a no goal in the first 5 minutes, under 6.5. Any way I can weasel an under 6.5. And when people say why can't I just take the under 5.5? I think there was a period in my life I got screwed by so many empty netters in 3-2 games. I'd rather craft a way to get the under 6.5 and finagle my way around an empty netter. So you can do the under 5.5, but this is a clenched cheek unders game for me. You want to find some props in there? That's on you.
Zuccarello likely back. He's minus 120 for a point, which is crazy. I'm adding him into my point parlay. He'll play on the power play that needs him. But I will go Ryan Hartman for a point here. As the series goes longer and he gets more time at 5-on-5, his play is probably one of the most indicative of playoff hockey. He's a grinder. He's tough. But now that he's got a little more help with Zuccarello, looking for that point. Ritzkovian is his name. Ritzkovian, spelled Hrykkowian, Ritzkovian, and I'm just going to the same thing. Like, no official really wants to blow this game. It will be maybe 3-4 power plays on each side. We're not going to see what we see in Tampa Bay and Montreal, and he's playing with Rantanen and Wyatt Johnson, and we know what Rantanen's CV is in big games. He might be one of the more underrated big game players. So I'm going to take him for a point at plus 170 and then go draw at plus 300. It's going to be a tight one. It's going to be get in, get off. Don't take long shifts. Be responsible more so than be aggressive. And this just seems like a tune-up for the eventual Game 7. And looking really forward to this. As I forgot his name, Ritzkovian. I can't read it and then say it. I have to look at how I spelled it out.
He's got to be so Polish. I mean, that's he's got to be straight from Poland. That is
first generation.
He's from there.
16 minutes. Pretty good number there for a guy, no PP correlation. Usually you get like that 14-minute mark. We see guys like him, guys like Krebs starting to creep up more as the playoff series go down. Dallas is winning the scoring chances so far in this series. The percentage at 58%. That's helping driving their expected goal for percentage, which is around 55%. Ottinger can play better. So there is room for Dallas to be a better team right now. Matt Duchene over 1.5 points, 3 straight. He's plus 350 from Jonathan Stewart in the chat. Anaheim, Edmonton, Minnesota, Dallas, all 2+ goals, plus 124. At that point, you might as well. Do you go the early game? Just go both teams to score 2, or does Boston scare you?
I'll tell you what scares me. I got Matt Duchene most points in the series, plus 4,000. And he currently has the most points in this series. But fighting off the likes of the other guys in this series, it just seems impossible. You have to fight off Kaprizov and Boldy and Rantanen.
You need empty net. You need Matt Duchene empty net help. Unassisted empty net help.
Jason Robertson having the hot stick is what's helping me a lot, because he's playing with Duchene, so he keeps feeding him. But all teams to score 2 on a playoff card, I'll never take that.
No, ever. It's one-sided. Boston's the one that sells that ticket. But I would say that I don't think Minnesota Dallas going to it's going to be a 2-2 game. Like, if you're going to go draw and you had to pick the most probable outcome, probably 2-2. Probably a 2-1 game. Maybe like we saw, I believe that's the run we saw on Saturday, where it's like, okay, let's defend. And maybe they break through. But teams like Minnesota, teams like Dallas are happy to sit there and be less aggressive and protect, because they can win games like that. Not
so much
natural.
It's such a big
but
game.
You have to do that. Like, you have to do that 3 times in a series. Like, you're not going to be up 4-2 in the third and be like, yeah, we can do whatever we want. No, it's going to be, as you say, cheeks time. It's 1 goal. And you're going to be seeing the top line every other shift, and the ozone's going to be stacking up the other way, and it's going to be sweaty. That's for sure.
You got to keep Sam Steele off the board.
Won't be seeing Sam Steele much. Oh, Wyatt, Robo, Duchene, Faber, Boldy, Eck, all for a point, plus 800. If there's a team in Dallas where it's like, okay, those top 4 are going to play and maybe their wingers don't score, it's them, but still like that plus 170 price tag. We go to the late game, and this is, I think that's our theme today, Andy, in terms of if we don't think these guys are true cup contenders, then anything you say about what you project can really happen. You could take Joe Schmo off the street, bring him on to the betting show, and whatever he says, you can't really dismiss it. And I think that's what we have here in Anaheim, Edmonton. You could tell me any line's going to score a point outside of the bottom four or the bottom two lines in Edmonton, right? You could tell me Jackson Lacombe could have 4 assists. Sure. You could tell me both teams to score 4 goals. You could tell me Edmonton could come back down 3-0 and win this game. There's nothing that I'd be surprised that would happen tonight in this game.
So first of all, I am going to state that the one team, because you see me sound pretty emphatic about how I feel about playoff teams, playoff styles, teams who have a chance, fake teams, non-fake teams. There is one that operates outside my realm, and they've earned this reputation. And I say, I don't know. That just whatever happens, don't ever be shocked. And that's the Edmonton Oilers. And they've earned that respect. I have not removed them from my Stanley Cup bubble. If Dallas was able to beat Colorado, I would take Edmonton over Dallas, because they've showed you a million times. Nobody looked worse. There's not a team in this world that looked worse than Edmonton through 2.3 games, of the playoffs last year. Way worse than this year. Way worse. And Draisaitl didn't end the season playing, or McDavid. So you had an injured Draisaitl, injured McDavid, getting destroyed, and then they proceed to lose 2 games the rest of the way en route to the Stanley Cup. Going down 3-0 to the Florida Panthers at like the height of their defensive prowess, and just boat race them in a bunch of straight games. It is a curious case of the Edmonton Oilers. Anything and everything is possible, including a series win. Don't be that guy who sounds exactly like the guy last year. But no, not this Oilers. This is the same Oilers. Same coach, same players, same defenseman. And if you want to say, yeah, but a new goalie. Oh, you mean Skinner, who just didn't even play most of the last playoffs? It's the same group of jackals. And I have them to win from behind in this game, because the only thing I've seen with them is they have to touch the bottom of the pool before you see them ascend. It has to be the worst before you see. And then when they do it, they go, wee, and they start beating everyone like it's no problem. So I think tonight we're going to find that out. And I have them to win from behind, because I see them touching the bottom of that pool, maybe trailing by 2 in this game. Then they get a power play goal. Then the building's going crazy. They find a way to win. Then they go into Anaheim, destroy them. Always remember, a 3-1 lead when you have one home game remaining is the biggest scam 3-1 lead in all of sports. I hate when they say 3-1 teams win X% of the time, because I need to know how many of those had one home game left. They got one chance to win the series at home. I always want people to remember that. Can Edmonton lose? Yeah. But if you're shocked for the 3rd straight year, then it's on you. Like, they can clearly come back, because we've seen them do it before.
Beckett Seneca, top power play. I know it's like a 1A, 1B situation in Anaheim, but with Jackson Lacombe playing as well as he is, he's actually leading all points. Like, that's crazy. Like, Jackson Lacombe, no one's talking about his production, but I think it's just on the heels of a bad defensive and goaltending Edmonton team. So basically anybody who's playing 28 minutes a game should probably lead in points, and that's what we're getting with him. So you're on the Seneca power play point at plus 550. Edmonton win behind plus 220, and the under 7 minus 115. We are in basically May hockey, and we're getting under 7s at minus 115.
It's insane. So anytime if they show me the number 7, I don't care if it's the all-star teams playing each other, I'm taking the under. Just as a practice. I mean, it's the playoffs. A team's playing for their life, and the only thing that you can argue against me is the thing that I just said, but what if they're trailing and eat a bunch of empty netters? So I'm not going to be able to fight you on that point. However, it's just a practice that I think you always want to be in, taking the under 7 in a playoff game. I took it last game, and it was a random push, but just something I want to mention, because I know you're probably seeing, you're giving out all these plays and then taking the under. Yeah, because the under is just an auto click for me if they're showing a 7. But what I found last game, because Gauthier is just, his shot is lethal and is finding the back of the net right now. Every power play last game, they opened with their second unit, yet the members of that second unit are being priced as the top unit.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going with you think I want to take Alex Killorn? Do you really think I want to do that? But like, a Seneca Killorn stack is north of plus 220, but Seneca working that second power play, which is actually the top one at the moment. I know
Killorn's in his element, but Killorn's in his playoff element. Like this is where he wants to be. Like he's the guy you're probably adding to the under on the 6.5 during the regular season.
Oh, you got that right. That's for certain. You got that right. But he has 5 points in his last 3 games.
I know. But like Podkolzin and Kapanen, who saw that coming as well. Currently, right now, no point stacks available on Bet99. We're figuring that out. But you can get assist stacks, and I don't know if you've gone assist stack wise. It's very pretty when you look at numbers. Plus 550. I hit it. I believe it was in game 2 in this spot. Just give me a Leo goal. Like that's all you're hoping for. But these, like in a high scoring series, yeah, you can get this done in 2 goals. Right? Like you don't have to all get it 1. It's not like the projection here for Edmonton scores like 2.6 goals. No, Edmonton's projects for probably high 3s, low 4s. Give me double assists from the line that's playing incredibly well with Leo, plus 550 as well on that. And it's just, it's a sloppy series, but we'll see. I think my point prop stack will be Kapanen, Krebs, and Zuccarello, and I think we're going to get that boosted from plus 780 today at Bet99. Do like those props, but not a lot of stacks today, but still some good value out there with everything else. It's Tuesday. We got a 3-game slate. We don't have to watch Pittsburgh, Philly. That's fine. Buffalo hopefully close things out today. That's the goal. I think we can like that. Minnesota, Dallas, we're hoping for some clenched cheeks and some good playoff style game 7 type hockey in that 2-2 series. And then your guess is as good as mine, Andy. What happens in Edmonton today? But I think if history repeats itself, you're not going to get a rolled over Edmonton team. Correct?
Yeah. And I just want to mention about the opening game because, I was a little... It's very unlikely that you see just some dead effort from the Bruins after that embarrassment.
Yeah.
I also want to remind everyone, those were some low-scoring games to start this series. Could this be another 2-1 or 3-1? I think that's also a possibility. It's why I was hesitant. I didn't have much to give, so I tried to do a strategic under. I was thinking about, well, a Swayman, they're really going to be aggressive on him, and they're missing a couple players. Zadorov not there to block shots. Should I take his saves? A lot of questions for me about that game, so I'm very interested to see how that one's going to play out.
Awesome. Do like today's slate, 3 games. Let's go from Nick Porto. Giotti, underrated band with only 1 album. That seems like a nightmare as we segue out of this. Andy Francess, if you do search him, he comes up as a musical person on the internet. Now, if you were in a band and you were like Giotti, and your song was someone that I used to know, and you had to spend your whole life walking around, and someone's like, "Hey, can you play that song? Hey, can you play that song?" How much do you think you could last?
I'm very bad, as you could probably guess. Like patience is something I try to work on, and I've failed many years in a row. I would be the guy with the viral video where I try to be cool, but then somebody catches me on the wrong day. I'm doing a Christian Bale on-set freak out, and then it makes the rounds on the internet. I'm the big prick who didn't sign the thing for the kid, or that story you saw about what soccer player Jorginho's kid went up to somebody, and then there was a whole story about how the bodyguard to get out of here, kid, or something like that. I feel like I unfortunately would be caught at the wrong time. But anybody I'm a pretty pleasant person to be around. I like to laugh, obviously, but something like if I was a one-hit wonder, I know the last thing I would want to do is just repeatedly sing one song all the time. That'd be. I hate repetitive things. I'd be awful with it. That's the answer. I'd be awful being a one-hit wonder guy.
No tub thumping for Andy Francess on today's episode of Puck Props presented by Bet99. Appreciate the plays. Winning day yesterday. Let's have a winning one today. Thanks to everybody there in the chat. Back again tomorrow with Uncle Carlo. 10 a.m. Andy's back next week, Monday, Tuesday. As always, 10 a.m. as well. Hit that like button on your way out. We'll see you then.
I'm the scat man. Yo, 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 yo.